On today's show, we're dissecting what's real and what's fake from the Suns preseason. Plus, what do those rotations look like now, especially with Jalen Green definitely missing some time? Let's talk about that and much more on this edition of Locked On Phoenix Suns.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Phoenix Suns. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show mornings on YouTube, and a credentialed Phoenix Suns media member, pumping out content on the Phoenix Suns 365 days of the year, dissecting this team, sinking our teeth into this team. This is what we do here at the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Reminder, we are on all podcast platforms, including YouTube, so click that follow or subscribe button to do what thousands of Suns fans have already done. Become an everyday or get locked onto the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. Today's show is brought to you by the lovely folks over at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. So I wanted to dissect a little bit what's real, what's fake from this Phoenix Suns preseason. Because, fans are rightfully so getting ecstatic about the future of the Phoenix Suns, the future of the Suns season. Some people or even talking themselves into expectations that I think are a little bit out of the ordinary. I think there are some things that are true. So let's get to those first. The first thing that is true is that this Suns team has made a day one commitment on the defensive side of the ball. It just looks better. Players are more active. They have defensive versatility. They've got guys in Ryan Dunn and Dillon Brooks who can defend 1 through 4. I'd argue when teams go small, Ryan Dunn and Dillon Brooks can both guard 1 through 5. Now, how small? Guys can 6'10" sometimes is considered a small ball lineup with whatever the skill set of that 6'10" player does. But I'm talking the 6'9" guys, the smaller players where they're just kind of trying to spread out the floor a little bit. I believe Ryan Dunn and Dillon Brooks, especially in the starting lineup, add real defensive versatility. When you add guys in like Rasheer Fleming and Royce O'Neale, who's still a very capable defender at this point in his career, and even to a degree, guys like Nigel Hayes, the Suns have got players to throw at opposing teams, especially at teams' best players. One of the things that I always kind of use it as an example is the 2022 NBA Finals when the Dallas Mavericks were playing the Boston Celtics. Luka was on an absolute tear in that playoffs. That was the year that the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic steamrolled the Phoenix Suns. But what was eventually the Achilles heel for Luka Doncic, not just the Dallas Mavericks, but Luka Doncic? The Boston Celtics had numerous different players that they could throw at Luka Doncic, whether that meant players got in foul trouble or not. They could throw Jason Tatum at him. They could throw Jaylen Brown at him. They had other exotic looks, Derek White, to make it just a little bit harder on Luka Doncic in that NBA Finals, and the Boston Celtics steamrolled them. The Suns have that sort of defensive versatility. Yes, some guys are better than others, like Dillon Brooks and Ryan Dunn, but we see the clear things that Rasheer Fleming can do. And Nigel Hayes-Davis having the archetype of someone that can be a pretty good defensive player, as well as the X factor in all of it is Kaman Malawach. What is Kaman Malawach going to look like defensively halfway through the season? That's another weapon you can add. Plus a rim defender that I don't think the Suns have ever had. I truly think, and this isn't a Kaman Malawach rant, but the more I think about it, I truly think he could be the starting center for this team 3/4 of the way through the season, maybe even halfway. So that's something that is concrete. It is clear. The Suns defensively have an identity. There's way more activity on the defensive end from the very first jump. Even though the starters and players of note didn't play, they immediately forced a turnover on the Los Angeles Lakers. They turned defense into offense against the Brooklyn Nets in that first preseason game in China. That's what had them win that game. The game that was played like 5 a.m. on a Friday. Like those types of things, you can see it's very clear. Let's go to something that I think is probably unlikely. The Suns as a playoff team this season. Now, I did not say play-in team. I said playoff team. I'll be very, I'll be very clear about those two different things. But I want to make it very clear for the NBA standings. Last year, the 6th seed was 49-33. The Phoenix Suns were 36-46. For the Suns to be a playoff team, if my math is right there, they would have to be 14 games better than they were last season. There is no argument that has been made to me that I have heard that is reasonable and I could see happen for this team to win 14 more games than they lost last year. When you lose a player in Kevin Durant, who, yes, you got multiple players back for him, he was the main focal point. He's a top 10 player of all time. I find it tough for me to see a team be 14 games better than they were, subtracting Kevin Durant. He's still someone who is a top 8 player in this league and a top 10 player all time. So I find that difficult. I do think expectations have changed a little bit, though. So this is where it's real. Originally, I thought this team's not going to be a play-in team. Like, it's not. And that's not what this is about. I truly don't even care at this point if the Suns are a play-in team or not, because that's not what this is about. I want to see success, but success isn't just always wins and losses. Am I seeing the development and growth from someone like Kaman Malawach, from someone like Rasheer Fleming? Does Ryan Dunn add a semblance of a three-point jumper to his arsenal? Does Devin Booker show he can take a team, put it on his back for 82 games, and show that he can be one of the best number 2s in the NBA and a great number 1 during the regular season? The playoffs are just different. That's more important to me than just winning games. There needs to be a firm foundation that is made for this Suns team. So that's what I think is real. Expectations have changed. Originally, when I saw 31.5 as the Suns over-under win total this year, I did call people kind of crazy for thinking that that was an insane number to put on the Suns. Now I think I'm with the, fans that can be a little crazy or a little or a little out there with their takes. 31.5 seems very doable. I think the Suns team is going to win 31.5 games this year, and more than that for sure. There's just too much talent, cohesion, and chemistry on this team. They are going to be a team that wins more games this year than 31.5. Last year, the Phoenix Suns won 36 games. I do think that they win more games than they lost last year. I do think they're a play-in team. And the reasoning for that is, I think they're better than the Jazz. I think they're better than the Pelicans. TBD on the Portland Trailblazers. I think there's a team that could come out of this mix. The Mavericks, we'll see. The Kings, definitely, I don't think are better than the Suns. The Grizzlies, I don't think are better than the Suns. And again, TBD on the Golden State Warriors. Let's see how that rolls with Jimmy Butler in year 34 for him. So, expectations have changed. The Suns should be a play-in team this year. And if you have those expectations, I would say to you, those are fair. I would say to you, those are tangible. And if the Suns don't reach those expectations, again, it's more about the foundation for me. I think it's more nuanced than that. How did the young guys look? What did Ryan Dunn look like? Did Dillon Brooks really show, true leadership of this team? Like, all those things matter to me. But there is some nuance to that. But if the Suns don't make the play-in, I would be a little disappointed. The top 10 teams in the West make the play-in. Well, 6 through 10 or 7 through 10. The Suns should do that. They're talented enough to do that. And when I look at the, teams in this, like, how much better is 36-year-old Steph Curry than 28-year-old Devin Booker? I don't know. The Memphis Grizzlies, like, who on that team do I think is better than Booker? The Kings? No. The Mavericks? AD, but is he going to play? I don't know. So I think the Suns have the most consistent and best player out of those teams. The Trailblazers, like the Suns are better. Now you have the Spurs, who will probably be a playoff team this year, but you don't know. What if Wemby gets hurt? And it's the same thing with the Suns. You just don't know. But expectations have changed a little bit for this team. And so I think when you look at it that way, that is tangible expectations. Those are fair assumptions for this team this year. And if they don't hit that, I could understand why Suns fans would be a little annoyed. Here's the other thing. I think most people are still in this, but this is a front office thing. Have the Phoenix Suns had a change of heart in the way they construct a team? I've seen some people, not many, I'm not making this like a massive thing, but I want to address it. The Suns don't get credit for the things they've done this offseason until we see it flourish in front of our eyes. Right now, they are still a team with an erratic owner who spends a lot of money, who hasn't really shown the basketball IQ as an owner to put together the correct team for this team through and through. Now, they've taken all the right steps. Like, it's like someone, this is a bad example, but the point is still there. It's like someone that that goes to rehab, like for whatever issue that they have. You're like, you know, they're not cured yet, but they're doing all the things that they need to do to become a player or a person that you can trust, or a team that you can trust. So the Suns are taking all the right steps to be a team at the end of the day that you can trust. But TBD, if this team flourishes and their plan works to become more defensive, and the plan worked to go buy Mark Williams for fairly cheap, then yes, we're absolutely going to talk about this team being a new, mature version of themselves. But let's not give all the credit until they've shown us, yep, this is what we are now. Give it a little bit of time. Let it breathe. You're allowed to be excited, but let it breathe with the front office. Let's see how this team comes to fruition this regular season. Let's also dive into the rotations. Who's coming out? Who's going in? Let's talk about that next. Today's show is brought to you by the lovely friends over at, I'm having some technical difficulties right here trying to bring it up. So no big deal. There it is right in front of us. Our friends over at Wayfair. The holidays are going to be here before you know it, which is exciting. I love the holidays. But getting your home ready for guests and celebrations can feel like a lot. Maybe your serveware needs a refresh, or the guest room could use some new bedding. Wayfair has everything you need to get your home holiday ready, from Christmas trees and wreaths to bedding, cookware, and outdoor inflatables. It's your one-stop shop for every room in the house. Wayfair makes it easy to personalize home for the holidays with a big selection for every style and budget. And with free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff, you can get everything you need without the hassle of huge delivery fees. I just moved into a house because of people like you. You guys make this show possible. You allow me to be able to make it possible for me to get a house. And I just got a house. We just closed on it yesterday. But there's a lot of open space in that house. And you best believe I'm going to be using Wayfair to getting my house holiday ready. I'm a big holiday guy. Inflatables, wreaths, whatever. It's Christmas lights. I'm using my friends over at Wayfair to take care of all of it. So get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop on all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. So let's quickly dive into the starting lineup for the Suns. And I understand we kind of know what it's probably going to look like. And I actually think I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. But the Suns starting lineup should be Devin Booker at the 1, commanding the point guard duties. For everyone out there that still believes you need a traditional point guard to make this team go, that's totally fine. But like Jared Butler or Jordan Goodwin might be more of a point guard than Devin Booker in terms of position. They're not better point guards than Devin Booker. So even if you want a point guard there, Devin Booker is better than said point guard that is on the open market right now. So Devin Booker at the 1, Grayson Allen at the 2, Dillon Brooks, Ryan Dunn, Mark Williams. And I'm going to kind of talk about this again here. I kind of like this idea of easing in the transition of what the starting lineup is going to look like for the Phoenix Suns next week against the Sacramento Kings. I like that they're not ripping, Grayson Allen and Oso Ighodaro out when you've kind of been playing with these players for the preseason, practicing with it. Like, the cohesion and chemistry needs to be there. So although Jalen Green should start over Grayson Allen when he is ready, we got to see what we have in Booker and Green, that backcourt duo. Maybe it's ready to explode. I like the idea of pulling Oso Ighodaro out, putting Mark Williams in, figuring that out. That's going to take some time to get accustomed to. And then we'll see when Jalen Green comes in the picture, what it's going to look like. But that is what I'm looking for. That's what it's going to be. And here's what I'm looking for. I want to see Mark Williams come out right away and dominate. I want to see Mark Williams show us, no. That was the Hornets' problem. The reason why I didn't play games. They were trying to tank. They were telling me to take my time. I'm a durable player, and I'm going to play like my hair is on fire. Mark Williams is playing for an extension this year. The Suns are not going to up his rookie extension this season. He hasn't played enough games for them to do so. One of the reasons why they got Mark Williams on the cheap, and that's what it was, on the cheap, it was a late first-round pick and another late first-round pick another year from now. Mark Williams is a better player than that, was because he's got some contract concerns. The Suns could let him go next year for nothing, potentially. Like, you don't want that to happen, but it could be the case. If he doesn't play 65 games this year, 60 games this year, and doesn't look good doing it, he's not going to get an extension from the Suns. Or maybe he does, and it's, a small extension because no one else wanted to give him anything. And I'm talking really small, like not big at all. So Mark Williams, the X factor there. And I think it's one of the reasons why I didn't want the Suns to get Jonathan Kuminga. Because although, like, if they could have got it for the price tag that the Suns were trying to get him for, I wouldn't have killed the move. But it's just a lot of moving parts with a first-year head coach where you're trying to figure out the Mark Williams thing. And then at some point, the Jalen Green thing. And the same thing with the Jonathan Kuminga thing. So with that being said, like, that's what I'm expecting for the starting lineup this year. And I believe that's what it's going to be. Booker, Allen, Brooks, Dunn, Williams. That is an interesting dynamic for me. Here's the other thing. Who's going to come off the bench? Well, it makes it a little bit easier. With Jalen Green not being in the picture and Grayson Allen inserted, you don't have to try to figure out those minutes. I know the Suns are trying to win because all great basketball teams are indeed trying to win. But this year is more important than that. You need to find out what you have in your youngins. So I get Nick Richards had a really good preseason. I will start the season off with Nick Richards as my starting backup center. And honestly, I don't even think it's really going to matter because Mark Williams is probably going to miss a few games. You're probably going to see a heavy dose of Nick Richards this year anyways. But Nick Richards will be my backup center with Kaman Malawach still getting minutes and breathing down his neck. Here's the other thing. I think Jordan Goodwin is the backup point guard. I know you guys like Jared Butler. And I know I didn't mention him a lot after his big game on whatever it was, Wednesday night. Like, he played well. But Jordan Goodwin has been consistent the entire preseason. And he adds an element and a wrinkle to this team that Devin Booker does not add. That Jalen Green does not add. That Grayson Allen, to the extent of Jordan Goodwin, does not add. He is a pesky ball player that can provide full court pressure on opposing point guards and give you in spurts 5 really hard minutes. And that fits the identity of this team more than Jordan Butler does, or more than Jared Butler does. Jared Butler obviously can be a microwave scorer off the bench, and both guys are going to play. My backup point guard, for sure, without a doubt, is Jordan Goodwin, because I want to see what he looks like with Jalen Green, with Devin Booker at times. Is he picking up guys, 92 feet from the baseline on to the Suns baseline? So I do think that Jordan Goodwin is the guy here. I'm sorry. I got way too ahead of myself, guys. I apologize for that. Colin Gillespie will be the backup point guard, but Jordan Goodwin will be behind him. because I also, in mentioning this before, Colin Gillespie will be the backup point guard, and Jordan Goodwin will be after him, but you will see more of Jordan Goodwin than Colin Gillespie. That's why I mentioned 5 really good minutes, because obviously a backup point guard is not going to play 5 minutes. Jordan Goodwin might play 5 minutes a night. Colin Gillespie will be the backup point guard. I got ahead of myself there, so I apologize for that. But also, here's that. Colin Gillespie will be out there with Nick Richards, and really curious what he's going to look like with Kaman Malawach picking and rolling. I want to know what that 2-man game looks like. The way Kaman Malawach commanded the lane the other night with the opposing team who had DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, Christian Koloko out there, like they had bigger guys. He commanded the lane, and I want to see that pick and roll duo go. And I also think, while we're on the Kaman Malawach thing, he improved his ball handling a little bit. It was not great in the summer league. I thought in this Lakers game, it looked a little bit better. This is where it gets dicey. I'm going to plant my flag here on who, as well as, should be right off the bench. So you've got Kaman Malawach. You've got Nick Richards. You got Colin Gillespie. You got Kaman Malawach. Jordan Goodwin is the backup to the backup point guard. Who plays in this team in the wing positions? Someone's being left out, and I think you might know who it is. Let's talk about it. Next. Today's episode is brought to you by the lovely folks over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers bet just $5. You get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. Pick a bet, put $5 down. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. The Arizona Cardinals, they are 6.5-point underdogs this weekend. And I'll keep saying it. I've been right every single week outside of week 1 where I missed it by 0.5 point. The Arizona Cardinals are going to cover this game. If you want to feel good about it, then, take the Green Bay Packers to win that game. Packers probably win. You get $5 on that game. You win $5. You win $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Listen, I'm not a betting expert. I don't know. But if I'm guessing here, and I've been pretty hot on it, Cardinals plus 6.5 feels kind of frisky and fun. But hey, put $5 down on, maybe the Chiefs, the Packers to win. That might make you feel a little bit better. $5 down, your bet wins, $300 in bonus bets. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the app today and get started. All right, let's close out the show. Talking about what the rotations are going to look like. So we know what it looks like right now. We have the starting 5. Booker, Allen, Brooks, Dunn, Williams, with Colin Gillespie pulling at the backup point guard duties, and Nick Richards and Kaman Malawach kind of co-captaining that backup center role. But I also think the Suns are going to have looks where they go really big, and they can go very jumbo. And I think they're going to do that, circa last year with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley style. I think you're going to see that. But these last 2 spots, and you kind of look at the Suns roster, who's going to play a decent majority of these games outside of the players I've already named. I think I'm just putting Rasheer Fleming over Royce O'Neale and definitely over Nigel Hayes-Davis. I like Royce O'Neale, and he's going to play in most nights. You got to find a place for Royce. But this season is not all about winning a bunch of games. I will say it till I'm blue in the face. This is about building a foundation. And the Suns have something in Rasheer Fleming where I think Kaman Malawach has done this a little bit more. And for my audio audience, I'm pointing up, has elevated more than Rasheer Fleming has over the last 4 games. Meaning, I think cognitively, it's starting to pick up a little bit for Kaman Malawach. And you remember he played more summer league games than Rasheer Fleming. Maybe Rasheer Fleming still kind of adapting to the NBA game a little bit, but I think he has taken strides. Not significant like Kaman Malawach has, but some strides. And if I'm trying to figure out what I have in my rookies, Rasheer Fleming is a all NBA defensive player just waiting to happen. He has got the physical tools to do so. 7'3" wingspan, 6'9" player, probably really close to 6'10". I got to see what I have in him. Now, Royce is going to play. He's going to play. And maybe Rasheer's not ready yet, and Royce takes over that role. And just so we're clear, that's a really good backup plan. Royce O'Neale is rock solid and perfect for the Suns. But that brings me to who's not going to play a lot on this team. I don't think at all. Like, I mean, maybe 1 to 2 minutes or cleanup duty. Guys, you notice I didn't say Oso Ighodaro's name. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Maybe in power forward sets, and maybe the Suns see him more as a true 4. Maybe. But like, I'm not seeing it offensively. He's a smart basketball player. He makes good passes. But like, you want to play Oso. That's great. But answer the question. You want to play Oso Ighodaro, then what? And he's going to play more than the next guy, but not much more at all. I'm not playing him over Nick Richards. He's a better 5 than Oso is. Not playing over Kamal Malawach in, big sets where I want to have 2 big players on the field or on the court. I wonder what Oso Ighodaro's role is going to look like, guys. I wonder what it's going to look like. Kobe Brea is not going to play. Jared Butler, he's the 4th string, point guard, maybe in cleanup duty. Here's someone I didn't name. Surprise, surprise. Nigel Hayes-Davis. Listen, I know you guys like to come at me a little bit for takes, opinions. Sometimes they're a little bold. I think one of my bold Suns takes was I didn't understand the Nigel Hayes thing. I didn't understand it. Gurchan Yabusele, I think, opened up the door for these kind of redemption stories, maybe more than there were previously. If you remember Yabusele last year in the Olympics, he looks really good with Team France, and he earned a spot almost immediately in the NBA with the Philadelphia 76ers. One of the best bargains in the NBA. That, catapulted him into a contract with the New York Knicks, which, again, love the fit. I don't see it with Nigel Hayes. I haven't seen it at all. I haven't seen the superb 3-point shooting. I see the acumen. He's often in the right places at the right times. I don't think defensively he sticks out like a sore thumb, but like sometimes he commits stupid fouls, and maybe I'm just holding that with the magnifying glass because I've been watching him so much, and he hasn't shown me anything that makes me say, yep, got to play that guy over. Got to play that guy over Rasheer Fleming and Royce O'Neale. Like, I haven't seen it. And I know some people are saying, well, like, wait till he plays more consistently with the starters and stuff. He's got to blow me away to play over Rasheer and to play over Royce. And he hasn't even came close to that. Some people have been like, oh, he's been, not as advertised. No, he's been kind of atrocious all preseason long. And he's smart. Seems like a very nice guy. Basketball acumen off the charts. I haven't seen the on-court product. So I think that's where you're at right now with Suns preseason. So with that being said, guys, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the show. That is all I have for you guys today. For everyone tuning in, being a diehard every day or in the comment section, guys, I love you. I get to live the life I have. Which is a modest lifestyle, but it's because of you guys. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys continue to support this channel. It's going to be a heck of a season. It's going to be a heck of a season. We're going to have far more fun than we did last season. So stick around. Stay tuned. For everyone tuning in, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. For myself, Benjamin Garcia, and I will talk to you guys and it's been Locked On Phoenix Suns, and I'll talk to you guys on Sunday night, Monday morning.